competence in the management of our economy. Rather, the IMF program reduced expenditure are the major reasons for the upswing in Ghana's economy.
Minority in Ghana's parliament says IMF program, debt relief and rising commodity exports key drivers to current economic stability, but not the competence of the Mahama administration. Tonight, we'll explore this angle from the minority in Ghana's parliament. Also coming up on Eyewitness News, New Patriotic Party, NPP, to select parliamentary candidates for the Ayawaso East constituency in the March 3rd by-election. Tonight, we find out why the party will not organize a primary. And later,
the plaintiffs are asking the Supreme Court to declare the delegate systems unconstitutional and to strike down the relevant provisions in the constitutions and electoral rules of the three political parties.
Tonight we hear from two members of the NPP, Professor Kwabna Frimpong-Boateng and Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, who are challenging the delegate system used by the NPP, NDC and CPP to elect parliamentary and presidential candidates at the Supreme Court. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 FM. Stay with us for more on this and other stories coming up in business.
Bank of Ghana assures of prioritizing monetary policy credibility as MPC meeting opens.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on Citi Newsroom.com talking about affiliates.
In the Western region, we're live on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrade. In the Bono region, tune in to Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyane. In the Ahafo region, we're live on Hammers Radio 106.5 FM in Goso. In the Ashanti region, you can tune in on Alpha Radio 104.9 FM and Orange 107.9 FM, all in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're live on Global 105.1 FM in Ho and Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In the Northern region, tune in to Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the Upper West, we're live on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura and Pupeli 92.7 FM in Wa. In the Upper East region, tune in to Source 100.1 FM in Boko, Pure 100.5 FM in Navrongo, and in the Northeast region, we're live on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nangpanduri.
You can join the conversation with your WhatsApp messages. The number is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. Let's go to the minority in Ghana's parliament. Jubi, what are they saying?
The minority in parliament has rejected assertions that the recent gains in Ghana's economy under President Mahama are a result of the government's competence. Speaking at a press briefing today, the minority leader, Alexander Penyomarkin, argued that external factors rather than prudent economic management are behind the current economic upturn.
Sean, we will bring you the minority leader's voice. Let's go to the phone and speak to Kennedy Osenyako, who is the member of parliament for the Akim Swedru constituency and the ranking member on the Road and Transport Committee, and was present at this particular press conference held by the minority in Ghana's parliament, read out by their leader, Alexander Penyomarkin. Ken, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. If you say that the current gains we are seeing is not the result of the competence of the Mahama administration, but then is the IMF program and the debt relief program, exactly what do you mean?
Thank you very much, Sammy, and a very good evening to your listeners and those who are also watching from the various online streamings. Yes, the minority leader was on point and was clear on his thoughts as to the message that he was putting out. Yes, we all have admitted, the previous administration have admitted that yes, since from 2022, the government or the country went into a serious economic crisis, which the government has to do everything to resolve that matter. As part of the processes to get the economy back on its feet, government has to take serious decisions and actions. Where some of the actions were unpopular and affected some people, but today, the same unpopular decision that was taken by the previous administration or the previous government, we are seeing it bearing fruit today. We are seeing it bearing fruit today. Inflation was somewhere 53.6% from the beginning of 2024. It came down all the way to 23.2%. And by trend analysis, it came down further from the beginning of January 2025 to 5.4% at the end of 2025. It tells you that whatever programs or policies that the previous administration put in place, or the IMF arrangement that we entered into, the government was strict and was following it, and it is paying off. But before going into this IMF program, our debt to GDP ratio was about 80 or 90, close to 90 something. Before we left government, it has dropped to 60%, and now it came further to 45%. Our debt to GDP ratio today. People were criticizing, insulting the previous government. Yes, the decision we took to implement the domestic debt exchange program was unpopular because it affected a lot of investors. But today, because of that single action that the previous administration took, our debt to GDP ratio has declined significantly to 45%. And today, the Mahama government can only go into the bond market to raise substantial money from the domestic bond market. Each and every day, they are going for 20 bills. If our debt to GDP still was standing at or stood at 90%, do you think this government would have gone there to? So, yes, there is some of the decisions that the previous administration took were very bitter. But we needed it to get the economy on track. We all saw after COVID-19, the crisis, the economic crisis that rocked the entire nation and even globally. Government needed to find a way to mitigate it and bring the economy back on track. And the government couldn't have done any other thing than to make sure that all these measures are put in place. Today, the very policies that we criticize, that domestic purchase agreement, our gold reserve program that the Ekufuado government initiated, today, that is what is holding our reserves. But they were insulted. Ekufuado government, they were even criminalized. So the same government that criminalized some of the decisions or the policies that previous administration put in place are now reaping and benefiting. I'm not sure that a country that this government economy they describe as criminally managed, they will turn it around within just a year.
How do you react to people? Let me come in fair now. But how do you react to people who say that this government has implemented a number of policies and programs as we are seeing the turnaround of the economy? For instance, they say that they've reduced the size of government, they've cut down on wastage, and they've cut down on expenditure. Maybe this is what is resulting in what you are seeing. How do you react to people who say this? In your time, it wasn't so.
They cut down government. Do you know that their budget, the emolument size, the budget of the emolument at the president now? They cut it. But go and see the status that they're putting them there. If it's not this government, I didn't know that we have people called regional legion officers in disguise. They are deputy ministers. They are taking the same salary as the Ekufuado government was paying deputy regional ministers. They are taking the same, they call them regional legion officers. What kind of portfolio is that? And nobody is talking about it. And this government came in a sheet, in a sheet room, as if they have that kind of humbleness, character, but behind they are doing, unthinkable things. You can't say that you reduce your government into about 60 ministers to 60. And you went back to appoint regional legion officer, which is equivalent to deputy regional ministers, paying them, receiving the same emolument, 60 regional. Look at the deputy ambassadors that they have appointed. Oh my God. John Ekufuado, there were only 2 I think 2 councillors that we are having, about 3 of them that we are having, just deputies because they were so big. But this government has appointed deputy ambassadors in all the councillors that we have. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody. Everybody is afraid to talk. Everybody is as if, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what is happening. But I think we need to be very, I don't know how to, we have to be sincere. Let me use the word. We have to be sincere to ourselves as a people, as a country. A government that between 2017 to 2020 was described as the best government, that has run best economy in Africa, to the extent that its finance minister was adjudged the best finance minister in Africa. Nothing happened, and just after the COVID, we were hit with this global economic crunch, and all of a sudden, that government is evil. They don't want to.
But Mr. Nyako, it is not only the administration at that time which was hit by COVID. Almost every government across the globe was hit by the pandemic, but then they were able to manage things well. That why is that? Hold on. Why is that in our country here it wasn't? We didn't recover. We didn't recover from this pandemic, but other countries did.
Big economies like the UK and the US. The government lost power because of these economic difficulties. Just that they can almost all those countries that were faced with this economy and they were going into elections. They postponed, they lost it. About 99% of those countries, countries with the government, they lost their elections. Let's go back to the history. So we shouldn't create the impression. But if I were to advise any future MPP government, I'm not saying that something crazy should happen like a COVID. If a COVID or any global pandemic like this should happen, should hit our country again or the world again, and Ghana is going to be affected. If our government is in power, I will tell my government that leave Ghana to survive on their own. Government should not intervene, because when they intervene and put and save them, after that they will come and say that they are able.
It is the duty of every administration or every government to protect the people. And so if you say you advise future MPP government to leave Ghana to survive on their own, it is the duty of government to protect life and property.
People will not appreciate the duty of government in protecting their life and getting more on the economy. If I am to survive, I am to give any advice to my future government, I will tell that protect the economy and leave the people. Let them survive on their own. That is the advice I will give to them. Because the next will not appreciate it. Even if they save their lives at the expense of the economy, they will not appreciate it. So I would rather advise them to save the economy. President Kufuor did the same thing. He encountered the same thing between 2007 and 2000. Look at the kind of what President Kufuor did and the NPP government did. At the end of the day, they criminalized Kufuor. They said he was evil. They didn't want to even hear his name. But today, the same people are now praising Kufuor. They say his government is one of the best ever.
Okay.
I said one day, time will judge. One day,
thank you.
They will remember Kufuor and his government.
Thank you very much. Kennedy Nyako is the Member of Parliament for the Akim Swedru constituency and ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament, part of the minority that addressed a press conference today, addressed by their leader Alexander Penyomarkin on the 1-year administration of President John Dramani Mahama. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to the camp of the New Patriotic Party and ask questions. The party says it will not hold parliamentary primaries in the Awelaso East constituency, but rather the party will select a candidate to represent the party in the 3rd March by-election.
News. Be there as it happens. Imagine making or collecting all payments without leaving your chair. Sounds like magic, right? Nah, it's Stanbic Pay.
As the Chief Financial Director of SBA Holdings Limited, payments from clients flow like magic through Stanbic Pay.
From school fees to utilities, government and statutory payment to investment, insurance payment, Hajj payment, and more. Just log on to Stanbic Pay and you're set for life. No Stanbic account, no queues, no stress, no last-minute panic.
Cherish your time and live happier in safety and convenience.
Just visit stanbicbank.com.gh or call 030-340-9212 or 055-676-0683 to get started.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, and what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Hey,
so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a flow the go be too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their invest-to-own policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Let's go to the camp of the New Patriotic Party, the political party itself. And the party says it will not hold primaries in the Ayawaso East constituency to elect a parliamentary candidate for the by-election on the 3rd of March 2026. Already, the NDC has opened nominations. 6 individuals picked up forms as at the time of close of nomination over the weekend. But the NPP says it will rather select a parliamentary candidate for the by-election. Let's get more details on this and speak to Divine Otuagohun. He's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Chairman, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Why has the party decided to select an individual as your candidate instead of going through the normal process of holding primaries and then the eventual winner becomes the party's candidate in the constituency?
All right. Good evening, Sammy. Good evening to your cherished listeners. Constitutionally, we at times like this, can either go for elections or selection of, a consensus candidate for the by-elections. And the decision was taken at NEC that we would have to select a candidate. So basically, that is what we are doing. We are not opening nomination. We are not having parliamentary primaries. We would select a candidate and contest the elections at Ayawaso East.
Is there a special reason?
Oh, as I said earlier, not only for this particular constituency, even the 2024 elections,
There were constituencies that we did not allow contest. For example, you talk about Ayawaso West Walk, and there were a lot of aspirants who had wanted to contest on the ticket of the party, but the party took a decision to, as it were, allow the sitting MP at the time, Honorable Lydia Al Hassan, to contest unopposed. So, election is all about strategy, and our thinking is that we don't have the luxury of time. The election, as we speak, is slated for the 3rd of March 2026, and as we speak, we are in the process of electing our flag bearer for the 2028 general election. So you agree with me that we don't have time, on our hands, and considering the fact that that constituency, had also been won continuously by the NDC, we took a decision not to run a primary that will, eventually generate cracks within the party. So we'll be selecting a candidate. So the National Executive Committee had already taken a decision and asked the regional party to initiate the process. So we even met on it today, and we took a decision as to the direction we're going.
So if I'm to understand, two issues here. One, you do not want cracks, and then secondly, you don't have luxury of time. What about the factor that you fear that you will lose a seat because it's not your seat originally, and so wasting time, resources to organize the primaries will not be necessary? So just put in an individual. If the party wins, fine. If you don't, at least you've not won that seat before.
Well, fearing will lose the election cannot be the excuse. Elections have two possible outcomes. You are either winning or you are losing. So politicians, we don't fear losing elections. That is not the reason. I have already explained that we don't have time. You agree with me? I mean, the NDC, as we speak now, what are they doing currently? We are in the process of selecting our flag bearer, so we are actually busy. So this is not a time you are going to, open nomination and ask for interested individuals to come pick forms and go. No, we don't have that much time. And I've explained to you, yes, it's a constituency we've not been winning, honestly. So we want to make sure that we present a front that is united. So that's what is informing our decision to go for our constitutional provision of selecting a candidate instead of electing. So that's what it is.
A similar decision was taken in the Akwetia constituency not too long ago, and the party lost in that election. Why would you want to tread on the same line?
Well, each election has its own dynamics. Okay, Akwetia, the situation in Akwetia is very different from that of Ayawaso East. Akwetia is a constituency we've been winning, NDC has been winning. We took a decision to, go candidate searching, and that didn't work for us. If we didn't win the election, does not mean that the decision to select a candidate was wrong. It's just an election that we didn't win. Several reasons will account for we losing the election, not necessarily because we didn't.
But the ultimate factor was to win the election. That was the ultimate factor.
Yes, but there are several constituencies that we had elections at the primary level, and we still lost the elections, similar to also that of NDC. So winning election does not necessarily depend on whether the candidate is elected or selected. There are several reasons that account for whether you are winning an election or you are losing. In this case, our decision is to preserve the unity of the party, for which reason we've taken a decision that we are not organizing primaries. Basically, that is what it is.
This individual that you are looking for in the Ayawaso East constituency, what are you looking out for?
Well, we want somebody who has, the party experience, who worked within the party, somebody that is known in the constituency, somebody who has, the humility and then the ability to, knock doors, go to everybody, work, such that we'll be able to sell him within this short period of time, and get the constituency to, as it were, accept him. So these are the areas we looking at, and the gentleman we settled on, appears to have ticked all these boxes, and for that reason, we think that we are good to go.
Who is this gentleman?
Well, I anticipated this question anyway. Yes, we've decided to settle on the constituency secretary in the person of Baba Ali. He's been secretary. He's been a constituency secretary twice, and the entire constituency leadership have agreed that we should go with him. Also, the Council of Elders. So we had the next meeting. How do you call it? The regional executive committee meeting today, and the entire regional party also, as it were, affirmed that decision. So we have a candidate, Baba Ali, and that is our position as we speak.
So Baba Ali is the MPP's candidate in the constituency for the by-election. How popular is he? From your assessment, how popular is he within the constituency?
Well, so this question will best be answered by it on the election day, but from the perspective of the MPP, we think that he is our best material for now. The party, as I said, the leadership of the party, i.e. the constituency executives, almost all of them, with the exception of one person who is not in the country now. But even that, our information is that he has also given his endorsement. The Council of Elders and all the key stakeholders in the constituency, virtually agrees that we must go with this candidate.
And there are no misgivings, no grievances. Everybody is cool with this nomination.
Well, we are human beings. We aren't taking things for granted at all. So we are taking steps to, touch base with almost every, key individual within the constituency, so that we'll be able to get everybody on board. But as I speak to you now, the leadership of the party, the constituency executives, the Council of Elders, the patrons, and those individuals who are at the front of the party, they've all agreed that we should go with Baba Ali. But of course, there are others also that we need to equally engage. So there's already a committee chaired by the Honorable John Bwedu, and that exercise will kickstart immediately after the Saturday's presidential primaries.
And you think you can bring everybody together before the primaries, because you say that you don't have time?
Yes, to bring everybody means everybody. That is nearly impossible. But, it's numbers game. Once you have the majority agreeing that, yes, it's okay, we are going. Of course, NEC are taking that decision, the regional party has affirmed it. There's nothing that anyone can do. But everybody, every single voter in the party, in the constituency is important. And so there's a need for us to, as much as possible, engage in this process of touching base with each and every individual that matters in this space, so that we'll be able to, get everybody to come along with us.
Divine, thank you very much for your time, Chairman.
All right, thank you too.
Chairman Divine Agohu is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. And the news is that the party has settled on Baba Ali, the MPP's constituency secretary for the Ayawaso East constituency, as the MPP parliamentary candidate for the by-election on the 3rd of March 2026. The party says it is not organizing or holding a primaries to select a candidate, and that a committee chaired by former General Secretary John Bwedu did a selection, and they settled on Baba Ali, the current constituency secretary of the Ayawaso East constituency, to be the MPP parliamentary candidate for the by-election. As you are aware, the NDC opened nomination on Saturday and closed it the same day. 6 individuals have showed up their heads to contest in the party's primaries, which will take place on the 7th of February 2026. The 7 include the wife of the late member of parliament, it also includes Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal, and a few other party stalwarts who are all seeking to replace the late Member of Parliament for the area, Mahama Toure. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra.
Well, the Electoral Commission has expressed its readiness for the new Patriotic Party's presidential primary. The election is scheduled to take place on Saturday, January 31. Speaking to Citi News, the Deputy Director of Research at the EC, Fred Tete, said election materials would be distributed to the various centers by tomorrow.
Preparations are far ahead in terms of the printing of the ballot papers in the presence of the agents of the candidates. That has been completed. The Electoral Commission, as of now, has taken full custody of the ballot papers from the printing house. We've also received the albums, or what we call the voters register, of the delegates with us, and hopefully latest by Tuesday, materials in terms of the ballot papers, the albums which are now in the custody of the Electoral Commission, together with a statement of poll and other things that goes with the elections, will be dispatched to the 16 regional capitals, onward transmission to the constituency centers.
Fred Tete is Deputy Director of Research at the Electoral Commission. Away from that, the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs has urged government to step up the fight against illicit drugs, cybercrime and other social vices among Ghanaian youth. President of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, Nene Sakite II, indicated that drug and alcohol abuse among the youth has moved from a health concern to a serious security threat.
Notable of these vices are abuse of drug substances by the youth, then cyber crimes and emerging kidnapping. What people call red is killing this generation softly. Let us take this seriously and make sure that we stop it completely.
You heard President of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, Nene Sakite II. The Eastern Regional Minister, Rita Akosua-Ejei Awate, assured stakeholders of the government's readiness to collaborate with traditional authorities to address these challenges. She also used the opportunity to highlight some government initiatives currently being undertaken in the region.
On water, sanitation and environmental protection, the Clean Eastern Region campaign has begun. But infrastructure alone cannot keep these communities clean. Tradition must support reinforced discipline. Again, we will continue to collaborate with Nananum to fight illegal mining in this region. Nananum, under our government big push agenda, the Eastern region is witnessing renewed momentum of developments, both on roads, in health, in education, and infrastructure. Roads, critical inter-district and inter-regional links are being upgraded to ensure that farmers do not cry at their farm gates.
You heard Eastern Regional Minister Rita Akosua-Ejei Awate. Now, residents of Bipotente in the Amansie Central District are living in fear after a clash between police officers and civilians left one person dead and several others injured. The incident occurred on Friday, January 23, when police seized a firearm from a 15-year-old, triggering a confrontation and subsequent shooting. Speaking to Citi News, Assembly member Matthew Kwabla Abuchi urged authorities to expedite investigations.
There's a fear in the system. Why? Because what happened, people might think it is the people living in the community, but those who came and work, they are not living in the community. They came from different community, different region, crossing the Offin River to school community to work. So if something happen like this, who stays somewhere may think the people in the community attack the policemen or the military policemen. Thorough investigation have to be done in the first place. Know the detail of the issue.
Matthew Kwabla Abochi is an assembly member for Bipotente in the Amanti Central District Assembly of the Ashanti region.
Let's not stay in the Ashanti region because today the Ashanti Regional Security Council is embarking on an operation to more or less clamp down on drivers who are charging exorbitant fares or unapproved fares in the wake of recent artificial shortage of vehicles, especially commercial vehicles. Let's go on the line and speak to Hafiz Tijan. He's our Middle Belt Bureau Chief who's been monitoring this exercise. He joins us on the line for more details on this. Hafiz, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Tell us more about this operation being embarked upon by the Ashanti Regional Security Council.
So they began the exercise today. They have split themselves. So two teams. One team is at the Sofo line area and the other team is here at the Fantasi area. So I have joined the team here at the Fantasi area and already passengers are commending this effort. They say that they have been going through stress in terms of getting vehicles back to their various destinations after a hard day's work. And most of the passengers have been complaining about the exorbitant fares being charged by some of these drivers or the commercial operators, transport operators. And they say that these are some of the issues that are confronting them when they are returning to their various homes. So the national security officers are here to do two things. One, they are really trying to control the traffic flow here on this busy stretch. You know, the fantastic stretch for those who must be very well leads to areas like the Obware, the Citi areas and the Trade area, as well as Central region and also the Western regions and Western. It's a very busy stretch, and when it's the peak hours, the traffic is always there, and there's always heavy vehicular congestion here on the stretch. So the officers have taken upon themselves to direct the traffic flow and also take advantage of the complaints of the passengers that have been there for some weeks now to ensure that they bring down the transport fares or not charging passengers the kind of fares they cannot pay. Most of the passengers at about 4 p.m. were so stranded, but when the officers came in, most of the passengers have left. Others are still waiting for the vehicle to come. Currently, the national security operatives have arrested 16 of the drivers and also impounded their vehicles, which have been sent to the KMA, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and later the drivers are going to be dealt with according to the officers who are doing the operation here. The conductors also of these drivers, some of them currently have been arrested, and their drivers have bolted upon seeing some of these security officers. But passengers are still coming here, still trying to get their vehicles, but the vehicles are not there. But the national security operatives are putting every empty vehicle that is coming here to get some of these drivers to adhere to the fares that they are supposed to charge. Let me quickly speak to Ivan Bilton, who is coordinating the affairs here at the Fantastic Station. You are welcome to Eyewitness on Citi FM. Thank you very much, my brother. So please tell us about what you have done today as far as this exercise has begun.
Basically, we are here to control the traffic. We've been here since 3 p.m. Within that period, there is always heavy vehicular traffic, and a lot of commuters are stranded. What normally happens here is, it took us some time to get to this level. We've been researching, trying to do our personal investigation with regards to cause of the vehicular traffic here. So we've come to the conclusion that many of the truck drivers, especially, these are commercial vehicles, what they do is they load and then they drop off the passengers at a very short distance, and once you get out of the vehicle, you will be stranded and they will have to charge you another fare for another short distance. So for instance, Fantastic to Kokobi, you have to board 3 different vehicles before you are able to get to your destination. and this is unacceptable. So this afternoon, with the support of the assemblies, we've visited various locations, Sopolai and Santasi, where we are currently, and a lot of the vehicles have been arrested, at least 16 of them. 3 drivers have also been arrested. I think for now you can see there is smooth flow of traffic. So we hope to sustain this for the next couple of weeks, after which we will review and then know the next line of action to be taken.
But what is the plan in terms of getting some of the buses, the Metro Mass transit buses, to maybe convey some of these passengers? Because some of the drivers, knowing well that you are here, will not want to come with their vehicles to this stretch.
Thank you very much. For now, as we've been in talk with the Metro Mass Transit bus directors, it appears they are also facing a lot of challenges. But we have gone beyond that level. We've been speaking to the religious organizations like the Christian churches that own those kind of huge buses. We've been appealing to them to extend their, Christianity, support to the general public. If you are in a congregation and you've been contributing to the purchase of these buses and you are not, it's not yielding any favorable responses, I don't think it's here to the benefit of the people. So we are appealing to their conscience, the religious organizations, to also come in and support, because we know they always pray for this country. So for now, that is what we are doing. But we have been assured by Metro Mass that next couple of months they should be seeing some fleet of buses coming in. So we are hoping and counting on that.
So that's Ivan Bilpin. He is the coordinator here at the Santasi team of the National Security and other security forces who are carrying out this exercise. So a similar exercise, like I mentioned, is happening at the Sopolan area, and they are showing that they are going to sustain this, and this has been the concern by some of the customers and the passengers and the commuters who are questioning the sustainability of this exercise, and also if the government can move a step further in providing buses for them so that these buses can convey them to their various destinations in the absence of these commercial vehicles.
Hafiz, thank you very much for your time. Hafiz Tijani, our Middle Belt Bureau Chief, speaking to us there. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we hear from 2 members of the MPP, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng and Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, who are in the Supreme Court because they want to challenge the legality of the delegate system used by the MPP, the NDC, and the CPP to elect presidential and parliamentary candidates.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, is it my TV or my eyes? Why? If you say everything clear past my future.
Oh, Charlie, it's not your eyes. It's the TCL C6K QD Mini LED TV.
With QD Mini LED technology, you get deep blacks, bright highlights, and colors so real. See, even the referee's board head, they shine.
Movies, football, gaming, every detail sharp like a new razor blade.
If your old TV they show bleh bleh, Charlie, it's time to upgrade.
Visit any Electroland Ghana shop for yours and enter the ongoing Achedia promo. TCL C6K QD Mini LED TV. TCL, inspire greatness.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, and what time when you come back we I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so
this is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go the gogo.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Hey, Auntie Akos. My momo is finished, but I still want to buy some pepper.
Hey, you are still stressing. You haven't heard about Extra Balance from Forms Capital?
Extra Balance? Which one is that?
It's a good way to get a small boost for your momo wallet when the pockets are dry. Extra Balance will give you a little extra money to sort yourself out till your next top up.
So, even me, I can use it?
Of course! Extra Balance helps everybody. Market women, students, small traders. No wallet left behind. With Extra Balance from Forms Capital, you get a little extra when your wallet runs low. Also, the interest is only charged for the days you actually use the money. It's part of our mission to drive community growth and financial inclusion, because when everybody can move forward, we all win. Sign up for free on the Momo app, navigate to Financial Services, Advances, and select Extra Balance to register, or dial *170#, select 5, select 3, then select 4 to activate Extra Balance. Live extra with Extra Balance.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. The level of pain in the heart and the mouth of the MP people is like fire consuming them. With the good thing President Mahama is doing for this country, we wish the MPP will stay in opposition for the next 30 years. The MPP has nothing good to offer Ghanaians. That is poor. The Kennedy MP is too partisan. How can you make such a comment? MPP never again. Hashtag Eyewitness News. The MPP mini minority does not have shame at all. No reason, no person within the party can call them to order. MPP never again. James Adoboinla says Ghanaians have suffered enough under the MPP administration. If it is the turn of the NDC to start with the good works of President John Dramani Mahama, may it continue. They should keep their mouth. Hamdi says the MPP must bow their heads in shame. They are the same people who run down the economy. Today, President Mahama is turning the economy around, and they are here making noise. Indeed, the MPP never again. A few more of your WhatsApp messages. We'll read them as and when they come in. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Let's go to some other stories. And two leading members of the MPP, one former Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, and one a former ambassador to Serbia. I'm talking about Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and a former Education Minister under the NDC administration, Christian Amakuniama, have gone to the Supreme Court. Why? They are challenging the delegate-based system of the NPP, the NDC, and the CPP in the selection of a presidential and parliamentary candidates. The three individuals believe that this is not representative enough, and that they want the Supreme Court to more or less give an interpretation of this system the major political parties use in selecting their presidential and parliamentary candidates. Hansen Ajima is our legal correspondent. He joins us in the studio to give us more on this suit filed by these three individuals. Hansen, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Basically, what is Dr. Nyawo saying, Professor Komla Frimpong Boateng, and Christian Amakuniama?
So essentially they're saying that if you look at Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution, it provides for the creation of political parties, which obviously it's a right for political parties to be formed. And in the operations of political parties, if you look at Article 55 specifically, the internal organization of a political party shall conform to democratic principles, and its actions and purposes shall not contravene or be inconsistent with the Constitution or any other law. So these three persons are making the argument that if you look at the current structure with which political parties organize their internal structures, particularly elections for presidential candidates as well as parliamentary candidates, it goes directly against Article 55 Clause 5 of the Constitution, and other relevant provisions in the 1992 Constitution, which they say that they see some form of discriminations in the actions of these political parties, particularly with respect to Article 17, which requires that all persons shall be treated equal or shall be equal before the law. The argument they are making is that if you look at these political parties, they operate a delegate system. Yeah. Now, a delegate system is an electoral college, and so not all members of the political parties can vote. For instance, the New Patriotic Party will be going to the polls on Saturday to elect its presidential candidate. The party prides itself of having over 4.5 million members, and out of these 4.5 million members, just a little above 211,000 are eligible to vote. They are eligible to vote by virtue of positions they've held or positions they are holding. Even in the 2023 primaries, it was less than that. About 203,000 persons were the only people who were eligible to participate in the NPP presidential primaries. The argument by the plaintiffs in this matter is that the over 4 million members of the NPP who are in good standing have been disadvantaged by this electoral college system, and they are therefore requiring the Supreme Court exercising its powers under Article 2 and Article 130 of the 1992 Constitution to declare those provisions in the respective constitutions of the political parties as unconstitutional, and then now direct the political parties to come up with systems that will make sure that all members who are in good standing will be able to vote. They obviously acknowledge that in 2015 the NDC made an attempt, but also noted that shortly after the 2016 election, when the NDC lost, the NDC reverted to the electoral college system. And
so for these three individuals or the gentlemen, they want all party members in good standing.
So the three persons are Professor Dr. Nyaho Tabaklo and Dr. Christine Amakonyama. She was a former education minister in 1997-1998. The point they are saying is that you cannot continue to have the delegate system at play, and that you should make sure that every single member of the party, at least the only criteria that if it will disqualify anyone from not voting is if that person is not in good standing. But if a member of a political party is in good standing, and usually with respect to members in good standing, for the common theme we get from the political parties are that that person should be a member of the party, following the rules of the party, and having paid their dues up to date. The payment of dues is a major criteria for determination of who a member in good standing is. And these three personalities are saying that provided a member of a political party with a party card following the party rules pays his dues as per the rules of the party, a member in good standing, that person should be allowed to vote. And they are saying that the current system is an affront to Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution, Article 1 of the Constitution, Article 17, and a host of other articles in the Constitution that preach against discrimination and unequal treatment of persons. And has the
Supreme Court set a date yet to hear this?
A date, as of now, we've not been told. On the face of the writ that has been filed, we've also not seen any form, or let me say, on the face of the document that the writ that has been filed, we've not seen a time for the matter to be heard, but we are following it, and if it is scheduled for hearing at the Supreme Court, we will follow up on it.
And it's an interesting suit. I really look forward to it.
Particularly because the NPP again is going into this weekend. And you know that political parties themselves have been arguing amongst themselves as
to expand
how
the electoral
to
college.
expand it. If you remember when the NPP was having their constitution reform, there was a motion for expanding so that everybody can contest. Everybody can vote, and even in the motions that were finally sent to conference, the committee that zeroed down on the various motions noted that they seriously considered the idea of having everybody vote in such elections, but there's a problem about knowing exactly the number of people and not getting people infiltrated and people being infiltrated into the system, and the cost of running such an election generally. As you are aware, there are still conversations as to whether there should be state funding of a sort of political parties. At the moment, that is not there, and so these political parties with their own sources of funds, I mean, there's an argument. I'm sure the Supreme Court will look into all of these, the constitutionality as well as the practicality of it.
I'm sure for public interest, we will follow it and see to the logical conclusion. Hansen, thank you very much for your time. Hansen Ajima is our court correspondent here at Citi FM Channel 1 Television. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Biafe Akente. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana is weighing both local and global risk as it considers its next interest rates decision. Discussions at the bank's 128th Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which opened earlier today, are focused on how quickly the central bank can adjust its policy direction without reversing recent gains in inflation control and overall economic stability. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, says protecting the credibility of monetary policy will remain a top priority in the months ahead.
While well-coordinated monetary and fiscal policies have supported these gains, our task is to assess the durability of these policies and calibrate policy to support growth while preserving credibility. As members deliberate, 4 considerations are particularly relevant at this round of meetings. This meeting is not about whether conditions have improved, because yes, they clearly have. The meeting is about how we respond to that improvement and how we ensure that decisions taken today, the decisions we take, remain robust under scrutiny tomorrow. So these are not mechanical choices at all, colleagues. They require our judgment, they require our balance, and they require a clear focus on our mandates going forward. We look forward to the insights that will guide our policy decision this time.
Dr. Johnson Esiama is governor of the Bank of Ghana. Now, finance and tax analyst Nelson Kujo Kwabeji is urging gold dealers and the wider business community to take advantage of the sharp rise in global gold prices. Gold prices have crossed $5,000 per ounce for the first time in history, following a gain of more than 60% in 2025. Speaking in an interview with Citi Business News, Nelson Kujo Kwabeji called for increased gold exports, saying this would help industry players and the country fully benefit from the current price surge.
The surge in prices of gold is good for us as a country. This is because we ended 2025 with a gross international reserve of about $13 billion, and that is more than 4 months of import cover. And so the time has come for us to actually take advantage of the prices of gold, make the necessary windfall, because at the end of the day, whatever reserve that we have built will go a long way to help in stabilizing the city. In fact, the prices of gold is one of the factors that contributed to the stability of the Ghana cedi, to the extent that the Ghana cedi has performed well over 41% during 2025. And so this is the time for us to take advantage, export more, and the necessary foreign revenue to boost our reserve.
Nelson Kujokwabeji is finance and tax analyst. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. James Kluche Aveji, has noted that while virtual assets and new digital financial systems offer strong opportunities to enhance financial inclusion, they also present risks to investor protection, market integrity, and financial stability. Speaking at the launch of the National Virtual Asset Literacy Initiative in Accra, Dr. Aveji said the National Virtual Asset Education Manual will serve as a structured tool to support public education, guide policy discussions, and strengthen engagement among key stakeholders.
As virtual assets, blockchain technology, and new financial worlds continue to scale globally, they present both significant opportunities for financial inclusion, efficiency, and economic growth, as well as significant risks relative to the investor protection, market integrity, and financial stability. Thus, a well-sensitized national approach is therefore essential. The National Virtual Asset Education Manual, which is being launched today, will contribute to that vision by providing a structured foundation for public education, policy dialogue, and stakeholder engagements. It will demystify virtual assets, clarify key concepts, highlight emerging use cases, and outline the legal and regulatory architecture, and also highlight the key risk considerations that must guide responsible adoption and usage. The National Virtual Asset Literacy Initiative reflects a commitment to promoting informed participation in financial literacy, supporting innovation, and being clear, predictable, and proportionate regulatory framework.
That was the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. James Kluche Aveji. Moving on, Ghana has taken a decisive step toward regulating digital finance as Parliament positions the country to become a trusted and well-governed hub for virtual assets, open banking, and cross-border digital transactions. This was disclosed by the Chairman of Parliament's Select Committee on Information and Communications, Dr. Abednego Azumabandim, at the launch of Ghana's Virtual Asset Playbook during the Future of Finance Dialogues in Accra.
From a legislative and policy perspective, the direction is clear. Ghana must build a financial ecosystem that is innovation forward but well governed, one where competition grows alongside consumer protection, and where digital markets expand without weakening public trust. As chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Information and Communications, I work at the intersection of technology, data, connectivity, and public policy. From the vantage point, one thing is clear: the future of finance is no longer emerging. It is already embedded in how Ghanaians save, transact business, remit, borrow, and invest, often across borders, and often at a cost that make efficiency and trust not abstract goals, but daily economic necessities.
Dr. Abednego Azumabandim is chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Information and Communications. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) is urging the National Petroleum Authority to step up efforts to remove inactive oil marketing companies from the downstream petroleum sector. The call follows concerns about the growing number of licensed operators, now estimated at over 200, many of which are reportedly not operational. Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan said cleaning up the OMC register would help strengthen regulatory compliance.
The question I asked again was this: if you are allowing the bad product on the market and insisting that in using a flaw, you are able to contain or curtail their activities, I am telling you, you are only making them more profitable, because if somebody has gone to steal products or MGO has come in through an illegal source and the person could have sold for 6 cedis, right? And you say that, look, you may be illegal, all right, but there's a floor below which you can't go, so sell at 9 point. Yeah. You're only making the illegality more profitable. There are names between all of us that we know. You'll be surprised, everybody knows that these entities are doing the wrong thing, yet they exist. And in the books of the NPA, look, 229 OMCs, you will go and do an audit and I'm sure over 150 or 160 don't exist properly, yet they exist. They should do an audit proper, be able to clean out those who have not been active within the last 5 years or 3 years. Okay. You cannot claim to have the license, you are neither working, you are blocking others who could have also come in with capital to work, yet you are in our books.
You heard the Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amoa, ending City Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejibi Biafe Akensi. Up next is Point Blank.
Telling these days new level crowd. Where did you pass?
Me, pass somewhere. I just switched for a better life. I switched for comfort. Look, my salary deserves better.
Switch?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I switched my salary account to Fidelity Bank, and that's my jackpot. I get higher loan amounts with lower interest rates, as well as personalized financial support. They gave me a loan to expand my side hustle, and the terms are just flexible.
Wow.
Your salary deserves better.
My salary deserves better, pa. You see the way you are smiling wide? Yes, I will switch and smile wider.
Your salary deserves better. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy lower interest rate, car and home loan, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. Switch and smile wider. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
If you believe with us, Fidelity. And if you know I'm on your side, Fidelity.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their Invest-to-Own policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
And send tweets.
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.ga or your My MTN app to sign up today. Everywhere you go.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank. On Point Blank tonight, we go back to Parliament. The minority in Ghana's Parliament, led by its leader Alexander Apenyo-Markin, addressed a press conference today, basically to assess the one-year administration of President John Dramani Mahama. He gave a damning verdict on the administration. It says the current economic gains we are seeing is a result of measures put in place by the previous MPP administration. Let's go to Parliament and hear the minority leader Alexander Apenyo-Markin.
Let me straight away zoom in to raise an issue of NDC's hypocrisy and double standards. In the 8th Parliament, when they were in opposition, they told the whole world that there was a need to pass an anti-LGBT law, basically They said that to protect our own culture, our religious beliefs, there's a need to pass a law that will criminalize any acts of lesbianism, gayism, etc. They were loud on the streets of Accra. They went into our villages, engaged the media, engaged religious leaders, engaged traditional rulers. 1 year down the line, they've been in office. They have gone quiet on this anti-LGBT law. We hear His Excellency the President play on words, claiming that the government was doing wider consultation to see how the law could be formulated in a better way. Really? But was it not the same law that they said it was okay to be passed? And again, when the mighty minority members decided through private members' bill to now pin them to their own principles, suddenly, after all the processes have been followed and approval given, and the motion was on the other paper, the NDC, through its majority leader, found a way of using procedure to claim that there was no such approval by the speaker and tried to scapegoat the clerk to parliament. As we speak, they have refused, neglected, and deliberately denied the people of Ghana that anti-LGBT law that they themselves spoke about. To make matters worse, our own curriculum, they have found space to introduce this promotion of sexual rights in the curriculum of our children. When they were exposed, this is what they had to say, that it was a mistake and that an anomaly. What an anomaly? When government documents have been printed, circulated, and signed by no less a person than the sector minister, and through the vigilance of the minority, you get exposed, you now say it was an anomaly. We don't accept this. We hold a view that the NDC used the anti-LGBT law only for power. And now that they are facing the reality, they want to find a way of running away from it. We will insist that they act by their own principle. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also address the issue of gold for reserves. We are not in any way opposed to that policy because the policy was started by us. We, the minority, are again not opposed to the institutionalization of a new vehicle to see to the implementation of that all-important policy. However, we have two major concerns. Concern number one, the establishment of the Gold Board as a regulator and also an operator is in a way directly encouraging galamsey activities. Our water bodies are being polluted. In fact, organized labor last year sounded an alarm and indicated that the galamsey activities have worsened. This government has failed to provide tangible evidence of its commitment in the fight against galamsey. It is clear that they are always involved in a PR gimmick, looking at the optics rather than the substance. They are interested in short-term gains. And today, we don't know whether the Gold Board makes a distinction between regularly mined gold or an illicit gold. All we know is that they are talking about their success story, the amount of gold or the tons of gold they have purchased. Yet, they fail to tell us whether or not there are measures to fight against illicit gold that are mined through galamsey activities. We are concerned because the future of this country is at stake. And the earlier this government took steps to protect the future of Ghana, the better. Second, we are also concerned about the IMF reported $240 million as of September 2025. There seems to be some confusion between the Gold Board and the Central Bank. But we want to tell the Central Bank, participating in the activities, being part of the feast, and when there are issues, you run away and you want to put the blame squarely at the feet of Gold Board will not wash. The IMF says that the losses came by as a result of Bank of Ghana failing to protect our funds. How can you give money to Gold Board to buy gold and they make losses because of exchange rate differences? How can you be paying fees that by law you are not entitled to pay? How can there ever be a justification that in rolling out a policy there is an economic cost? Let me remind the Central Bank that His Lordship, Justice Afre of blessed memory, in the Salome case, laid down the ground rules, especially the true definition of causing financial loss. The Central Bank must not forget this. What is happening amount to a financial loss to the state. We are also aware that respected and senior legal experts within government seem to have warned on this. It is filtered through to us. Therefore, we urge the Central Bank to immediately take steps to address this. Though we've become aware that there was a joint board meeting between Central Bank and the Gold Board as a result of the concerns raised by the minority, of which there was a conclusion that artisanal mining model should now go for 9.75 for bullion and 9.55 for unprocessed gold, which is a reduction from the previous 15%. Much as this is commendable, we still think that there are still losses that would have to be considered. We are also aware that Central Bank is saying that it wants to give some moratorium of 1 month to allow for further deliberations amongst the various parties, the Ministry of Finance, Gold Board, and government, on a sustainable cost-sharing structure for the program. So indeed, if the minority was merely blowing hot air, why have they now decided through joint board meeting to take steps to ensure a sustainable cost structure? We are concerned about these losses. We believe that if indeed we are going to have a gold for oil reserves, the government must take steps to sustain it by ensuring that there is real profits. The approach they have adopted will not help the country. We need money to build roads, to construct hospitals, to build schools, to create jobs. And if the Central Bank is going to underwrite some of these artificial losses and turn around to tell us that it's an economic cost, we regret to say that the minority will not accept this. We are open to discussions on this matter, and just as we always do, we'll put forward our views. We also want to say that we filed a motion in Parliament. We have become aware that the Speaker has admitted the motion, which would allow for broader engagement and consultation on this matter. We urge the various stakeholders in this goal for oil reserve to open up to hear our views so that together we can move this country forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I will proceed to state that at a recent World Economic Forum in Davos, the Canadian Prime Minister delivered a message to the global elite that they did not want to hear. He warned that the old order is not coming back. He described a new world in which major powers use tariffs, supply chains, and financial systems as open tools of pressure and control. He urged that what we call, quote, rules-based international order, unquote, has for many become an exercise in living within a lie, unquote. A system countries feel obliged to join, while privately knowing it no longer works as advertised. For a smaller economy like Ghana, this is not an abstract debate. It is a direct challenge. It means we cannot rely on comfortable stories of mutual benefit when the structures of global integration are being used as instruments of leverage. This new world demands 3 clear responses from Ghana. First, we must build a truly strong and resilient domestic economy. We need enough strategic autonomy that no outside power can bend us through debt traps, currency games, or control over one key export. Economic sovereignty cannot remain a slogan. It must become the solid foundation of an independent foreign policy. Second, we must deliberately diversify our international relationship. We must deepen ties across Africa and engage carefully with traditional partners in the United States, European Union, UK, China, Canada, and with emerging powers, without surrendering our sovereignty to any single dominant player. Third, and most important, we must root our foreign policy in the constitutional values we live by at home. A so-called pragmatic foreign policy that turns a blind eye to impunity, corruption, and injustice inside our borders is not realism. It is a performance of sovereignty that hides a quiet acceptance of dependence. We cannot project moral clarity abroad if we refuse to practice it at home. Take Ghana's ambition to mediate between ECOWAS and the Alliance of Sahel States. It is a worthy and necessary goal, and it reflects the traditional leadership role Ghana often claims. But moral authority is never something a country can simply declare. It is earned gradually through steady action at home. It rests on the integrity of a nation's own institutions. A government that tolerates opaque, loss-making schemes orchestrated by the central bank, that turns prosecution into political weapon, that attacks judicial independence by unconstitutionally removing a chief justice, and that allows ongoing destruction of our rivers, is steadily destroying the very credibility it wishes to display abroad. Real sovereignty in diplomacy is built on domestic accountability. A nation earns the right to be a principled foreign policy by making its own society more resilient, transparent, and just, so that it is less vulnerable to pressure and less easily silenced. Before Ghana can credibly reconcile other nations, it must first bring its own practice into line with its proclaimed values. Our influence abroad will always be limited by the strength of our integrity at home. And by the way, we have seen that my Lord Bafuboni and his management are all over at the various ministries, including Jubilee. Is he on a thank you tour? Is my Lord Bafuboni on a thank you tour, thanking the government for appointing him as a Chief Justice? And we hear today he is coming to Parliament. We, the minority, don't see him as a tolerant head of the judiciary, because members of the minority came under attack when we criticized the processes leading to his nomination. We will therefore not be part of his thank you tour. If he wants to engage us, our offices are open. He should come and engage us, and we'll let him know things that we find wrong. Colleagues, members of the media, let me emphasize that the macroeconomic figures from last year, although real on the surface, encouraging as well. We are aware that inflation has dropped from a peak in the 20s to single digits. We are aware that government is now touting it as its own successes. But instead of welcoming, we must ask, stability for whom and at what long-term costs? Think of economic policy as a bridging connecting the state to its citizens. On one side of that bridge are the conference rooms in Accra, where ministers display tidy charts and quote IMF reports. On the other side are the markets of Efutu, the busy streets of Tamale, and the households of Takwa, where Ghanaians experience the economy not as statistics, but as struggles with food prices, utility bills, and the search for decent work. In 2025, that bridge broke. Inflation fell on paper, but the cost of a simple meal remained beyond reach for many families. Growth accelerated in the aggregate, but around 1.25 million young people were left outside employment, education, or training. A generation waiting on the margins. Macroeconomic stability improved, yet an estimated majority of water bodies are polluted, and energy sector debt still sits in the billions of dollars. This gap has a clear cost. The current stabilization rests heavily on the tight IMF conditions, new levies imposed on already burdened citizens, and continued dependence on the same narrow export of gold and cocoa. Now, instead of introducing reforms in the energy sector, they decided to impose levies. Remember that they said e-levy was bad and they were going to scrap it. They were going to outlaw it. And Ghanaians celebrated them when they repealed the e-levy. But let's look at some numbers. They took away e-levy, but utility tariffs alone, so far, we have seen an excess of 27%. Electricity tariffs, under Akufo-Addo, where we were paying e-levy at 1.5%. And they were telling us, the NDC told us that it is too much. Today, electricity tariffs have gone up in excess of 27%.
Alexander Penyomakin, Ghana's minority leader in Ghana's parliament, addressing journalists this afternoon on the one-year administration of President John Dramani Mahama. And this is how we end today's edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami. We are official produced by Beverly London, Kwabena Wilson, Fred Tete Jabano. Earlier you heard Ejubi Riafi Akenton. Julian Odami was also one of the producers. Technical assistant Desmond Nyakon. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.
Citi News. We speak first.
Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook.